Hello everybody, and this is Big Bang Bot Claws, ho ho ho! And this year I will be reviewing a video game for Christmas. And what am I going to review this year for Christmas? Well, that video game is an amazing car race on the PS1 known as CTR, Crash Team Racing. Without further ado, let's play this awesome game. First, a quick boring history lesson. This game started development shortly after Crash 3, and Naughty Dog had a contract with Universal where they can only make 3 games, but it wouldn't end till January 2000, so they made one more game. That's more than 3, by the way. So they made this game as a result, and yeah, this game is great. It received many positive reviews, and yeah, let's get into this game! Our story begins in a nice, peaceful place where there's a race and a trophy prize, and then something happens. We travel all the way into outer space. Then we meet someone, and he will explain things. Well, you've never heard of Sonic the Hedgehog, haven't you, Oxide? No, you have not. So basically, the story is that Oxide wants to destroy Earth, and he gives them a fair competition. So basically, if Earth wins, he leaves us alone. But if he wins, he will turn the planet into a compiled thing. And then he travels to Earth just to make sure that this happens. So basically, this is the race for the fate of our planet. Yeah, that's the story, guys. The story may not be that good, but at least there's a story, unlike Mario Kart, and it's about the fate of the planet. What kind of story does that sound? It sounds like an epic tale between Earth and Oxide. Yeah, but remember, the gameplay is more important, and let's move on to the great gameplay. In this game, there are a bunch of modes. There's Adventure, which is the adventure mode, Time Trial, which is the time trial mode, Arcade, which is the free race mode, Versus, which is the multiplayer battle, which is multiplayer battle, High Score, which is high scores, and Language is language. But there's a cool thing about the languages. You can press the triangle button when the game boots up and asks you for a language, and what happens when you do that? You don't get a language, so in case you don't want a language, you got the option. So, thank me for telling you, but unfortunately this is only in the PAL version and not in the NTSC version, so if you don't live in Europe, you're unlucky. Unless you buy the European version, if you have a European PS1, PS2 or PS3, but, you know, you don't have to do that, but I'm just being weird now, so goodbye. You start the game off with 8 characters. You have Crash, Cortex, Tiny, Coco, Engine, Dingo Dial, Polar, and Purra. Now, Crash and Cortex are average. I love average. Tiny and Dingo Dial are fast, but they turn horribly. Coco and Engine accelerate fast, and Polar and Purra are slow, but they turn amazingly. There are also a few more characters, but I'll get into them later. In the game there are 5 hub worlds. You have Beach World, Land Place where Oxide stays, Ruin World, Snow World, and last but not least, Castle World. Each hub world has 4 tracks. Well, except for the place where Oxide is, but whatever. And by the way, I know that these hub worlds have real names, but I really don't care about their real names. Now when you enter the races, you have to race in these tracks. When you win these races, you will be awarded with a golden trophy. Yeah, you will get a golden trophy when you win. Once you've got all 4 trophies in a hub world, you will face a boss. The bosses in each hub world are Ripperoo for the beach world, Puffle for the ruins world, Komodo Joe for the snow world, and Pinstripe Potteroo for the castle world. And I think you guys should know where Oxide's hideout is by now. Once you beat one of the bosses in the main 4 hub worlds, you get a key! And once you get a key, you can go back to levels and do 2 more challenges. First off, there's the CTR challenge, and I'll let Uka explain that to you.
Collect the letters C, T, and R on each track, and come in first place to win a CTR token. Beware, some letters are hard to find.
There's also Relic Race, which is exactly the same as it is in Crash 3. If you play Crash 3, then you should know exactly what to expect, but the only difference in cars. And if you haven't played Crash 3, then go see my review of Crash 3. Or if you play Wrath of Cortex, you should also know since they're exactly the same in Wrath of Cortex as well. The only thing that I will mention is that if you collect all of the boxes in the track, the game will let you have 10 seconds less, which is awesome, and it will help you get some of the harder relics. Such a great feature that was added into this game. I'm going to quickly mention that you save using these giant portals. It's annoying that there's no autosave, but whatever. It is a minor complaint that I have, but it's not major. I'm going to mention that there's also battle arenas in the story mode, where the goal is just to collect 20 power crystals in a certain amount of time. And if you collect all of them, you get a purple gem. Once you collect all of the gems of a certain colour, by the way, this is the blue gem cup, you have to race through a cup Mario Kart style, and if you win, you get a gem. And there are 5 different cups to take part in. The purple gem cup, however, is different from all the others. Instead of racing through the tracks that contain the coloured gems that you got to get to that cup, you have to race through all the tracks with all the bosses, and you even have to race all the bosses who do not throw items like you do when it's your actual encounter with them. And once you win one of those championships and win a gem, you unlock one of the bosses. I'd like to mention that once you win the purple gem cup, you unlock Fake Crash. Kinda weird, but hey, there was no more bosses after that except for Oxide, so I'll let it slide. Once you've collected all 16 trophies and all 4 keys, it's time to race Oxide. And then you find out that you need to find all 18 relics to race Oxide again and to finally save the world like he promised. He doesn't do that if you just got all the trophies. You need all the relics, and if you want all the relics, you also need all the tokens and all the gems. So yeah, get everything. Once you collect 10 relics, you can race in Sly Coliseum, which makes you face another time challenge for another relic. And once you collect all 5 gems, you race in Turbo Track, which once you win will give you another relic if you're fast enough. Once you've collected all 18 relics, it's time to race Oxide again, and this time win! And once you win, you unlock a scrapbook which has a glitchy right side. And also us Europeans got the shorter version of this, mainly because the extra languages were filling up the space. Man, I hate space limitations. The game has a total of 18 tracks, and the good thing is that only 2 of them look similar to each other, and that's like Coliseum and Turbo Track, but even then I could probably tell which one is which. All the tracks are really well designed and really fun, and like I mentioned before, only 2 of them are similar, and each of them all have great songs to match them. I might as well teach you the controls. To move forward, you either need to hold X or hold up on the right analog stick. That's right, you can move by holding up on the right analog stick. Now to reverse, you just need to press down on any of the 3 ways you control the car, as in with down on the D-pad, down on the left analog stick, or down with the right analog stick. Now, to brake, you need to hold square, or you could just hold reverse. Now, to change your counter, you just need to press the triangle button. Now, circle lets you use some of the items which are very similar to Mario Kart items. And also, I need to teach you about the boosting. Now basically, if you want to boost, first you need to hop like in Mario Kart, but then you need to press another button to do the boosting. So let me tell you what. Now in order to jump, you need to either press R1 or L1. Now if you build up enough speed and jump off a high enough ramp, that will give you some speed. So basically, if you want to boost, you need to hold 1 jump button, and when that bar at the bottom right turns red, that's when you press the other jump button to perform it. And if you jump at the very tip top of your jump, you can make a huge jump and jump over some huge gaps. And there's one more thing I'd like to mention about the controls. To change the length of the camera, you have to press the L2 button, and to look behind you, need to hold the R2 button. Now let's make this awesome jump! Whee! That was so awesome! Now the controls are just fine. I don't have any problem with them. Sometimes I'm still power sliding after holding the R1 button, but that's my fault because I'm holding the R1 button even if I think I'm not. So the controls are practically perfect, they work fine, and overall they are just fantastic to use. So yeah, now let's move on to the graphics. Now this game looks great, the textures look just fine for a PS1 game released in 1999. The characters look fine even though I'm not a huge fan of how their faces look. And overall, the game just looks fine for a PS1 game released in 1999. It looks absolutely fine. I don't have any problems with the graphics whatsoever. While Sly Coliseum and Turbo Track look the same, they are the only 2 tracks in the entire game that look remotely similar to each other. Every other track looks different to each other, and that's a plus. Now let's talk about the music. The music, just like in Crash Bandicoot Warped, is absolutely fantastic and one of the best soundtracks on the entire system. I just love this game's soundtrack, and I can't even name you one song which I don't like. While Tiny Arena, Sly Coliseum and Turbo tracks share the same song. That's still not a bad thing because all of the other tracks have amazing songs, and even these 3 tracks, while having the same songs, it's still amazing. All the other tracks have different songs, and those songs are great as well. Now, my favourite song is probably the song in Engine Labs. Just listen to it. I'm not doing anything because this song is so good. I just love that techno beat. Now, like I mentioned before, the only problems I have with this game are the lack of an autosave feature and the shorter version of the scrapbook mode in the PAL version. But everything else is just perfect! Just everything, and I mean everything! The graphics are great, the music is great, and the most important part about this game, which makes it great, other than the tight controls, is how fun the game is. Seriously, the game is fast-paced, yet at the same time controls perfectly, so you can have such a great time in this game, and, well, it's just great. I love the game modes, I just love this game. It's just so great. Now, before we end this review, let's just have a quick look at the Japanese version of this game, which is called Crash Bandicoot Racing. It's a different title, but it's not that different. Just to let you know, I do not own the Japanese version of this game, even though I love to, even though every PlayStation has region encoding for PS1 games, and all you're thinking, PS3 is region free, but not for PS1 games it isn't, and all of this footage is taken off YouTube, so that's just a little message for now. First off, the intro sounds completely different. As in the music and the obvious Japanese. And the voices. Another difference with the Japanese version is the title screen. Not only Crash looks completely different in his kart, but also, well, yeah, the artwork's just different, and there's Japanese music, as in a different song. Yeah, a cool song in the background. That's only in this version of the game. I've said enough now. Some of the characters have different icons to appeal to the Japanese market that this version was intended for. But this isn't every character. These are all the characters that had their icons changed in the Japanese version. Also, Ripperoo now speaks in Japanese and not in his laughing language, so there's no more subtitles for this since he's actually speaking in Japanese. Although there could have been Japanese subtitles for people who can't hear. Other changes are that the TNT crates now have oil on the sides of them and not TNT. That's kind of an odd change to the Japanese versions of the games. There are Whompers in the arcade races to show how hard the tracks are, and also there is this pretty cool bonus video which is only in the Japanese version. It's pretty crazy. Have a listen to it. It's a Japanese song and a music video. By the way, I have no knowledge of Japanese. Although I wish I did. Well, that's probably enough for now. If you want to see the whole thing, just go on YouTube and look it up on there, or if you have the Japanese version, just find the code for it on the internet. And we also get to see how much the Japanese version of Crash's eyes look like a black version of Pac-Man. Yeah. The Japanese version also added a boost gauge, which was right there. It's also in the non-Japanese versions, but you need a cheat in the non-Japanese versions. Yeah. Oh, and one last change is that the CTR letters change to CBR mainly because of the game's name change. And by the way, I prefer the CTR way more than CBR because it sounds a lot better. But that's just my opinion, guys. Overall, CTR is a great game. Ho ho ho. Almost everything about it is great. The only problems, no autosave, shorter scrapbook in the PAL version, and Oxide's not playable, which kind of sucks, but it's not a huge deal. This game is still great. Ho ho ho. I give this game an A. That's right, an A. Shall I give it an A+? You can decide whether this game is an A or an A+. I'm just going to kind of put it in between and call it an A. This game, I may not know exactly what to rate it, but overall it's still a good game. And you should definitely put this game on your Christmas list if you haven't done it already. And I definitely have the definitely like the Japanese version along with the Japanese PS2 on my Christmas list. Even though I've already done mine and I forgot to do that. I'm so stupid. But anyway, Merry Christmas! I hope you enjoyed this Christmas-tastic review, even though it was not on a Christmassy game. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and leave some requests in the comments. This is Big Bang Bot Claus signing out. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, guys. Have a wonderful, happy, joyous Christmas and New Year.